big question is always, what is Team Teach?
I think the fact that our Team Teach trainers, they work in the homes, they're passionate about Team Teach.
If my own child were about to run in front of a car, would I want someone to stop them using reasonable intervention? Yes, I would. SuperCare want to see progression, and I love that. They want to invest in people and they really want people to grow.
What I enjoy about delivering training and I enjoy about us when we work together is SuperCare pay for you to attend training. How amazing is that?
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And we do 36 days or the average is 36 days of training a year, which can be face-to-face, online.
Small workshops.
It covers all of the young people's needs. It covers the mandatory training. So those things like health and safety, equality and diversity, but then looks at like the different needs of the young people. So whether that's their learning disabilities, their trauma, their self-harm.
Promoting independence for particularly young people, yeah.
Intimate personal care, you know, it's a subject that actually we talk about needing to support young people with personal care, but actually what does that look like and how do we do that sensitively, you know, making sure that it's with dignity and respect for young people, because actually if you're new to this industry and you've never had to do intimate personal care for someone before, you might not know how to. You might not know how to do that.
Yeah, I think the play as well, you know, for one of our homes delivering training around play. And actually they were great because they already had so many ideas, but their young people are really playful and they wanted some more kind of support on that. They brought it to us as trainers. We developed a course. We were able to come in with loads of different resources. We raided our kids' toy boxes and looked at some kind of different tools that we could use. And actually it made it fun. And we always say we try to make training fun whilst also maintaining the professionalism, the seriousness of some of the topics. Some of the topics we have to speak about are hard hitting. They, you know, we go deep. We don't stay on the surface level with it. We really explore each topic and we challenge people. And I think what I enjoy about delivering training and I enjoy about us when we work together and anybody that supports our training and development is that we don't just do that basic, you know, they have their online training, they have that as a buffer, which is great for an external company. And then even when we deliver online training, it's bespoke to young people, it's bespoke to SuperCare, it's tying in, with the SuperCare values throughout. And then when it's the face-to-face for each home, it's really child specific. So we're talking about children that we know about as well as trainers, and we're talking to adults that work with them. And I think that is really important. That's where the sweet spot is.
And everyone has Team Teach training. The big question is always, what is Team Teach? But Team Teach is about de-escalation. It's how we can support young people if they start to escalate, if they start to become dysregulated. What can we do in order to hopefully calm and reduce their anxieties? You know, all behaviour is a form of communication, but what Team Teach really teaches you is what does de-escalation look like, whether that's a change of face, so swapping the adults with another adult, so it's a fresh person, looking at the environment, can we change the environment or the setting? And in some cases that might be, you know, having to guide or move a young person to a safer location. So if we're in the community, for example, that might be supporting a young person by technique where you can safely guide a young person using the correct techniques to a safe location. And that's what Team Teach does and teaches you. It teaches you how to do that as safely as possible. I'm always still curious when homes say that they have a no physical intervention policy, because if my own child were about to run in front of a moving car, for example, would I want someone to stop them using reasonable, proportionate and necessary intervention? Yes, I would. So when we talk about physical intervention, it is always a last resort. We use every other means possible, but in those real high risk situations, like I say, if my own child were about to run out into the road, I would want someone to, you know, stop them and to help them and support them. I wouldn't want someone to hurt my child, and Team Teach never, you know, aims to hurt children. It's to do it in a safe, protective manner, which is outlined in their risk assessment so that we can do it in a way that works and supports that particular young person.
And that links in with our behaviour support training as part of our induction process, as part of our ongoing training in the homes, because throughout that we talk about de-escalation. We talk about how important it is to actually de-escalate first, understand the triggers. How do you know your young person? You know, we sit and we break it down. We do small workshops where we're talking about maybe one particular young person that may be going through a difficult period of time. So then we're looking at it holistically, and we're saying, okay, let's look at some of their triggers. All right, the trigger at the moment is the community. So we have a young person where one of their risk assessments at the moment is that we drive them to somewhere that's more open. It's fabulous. That means there's no restraint required, but they're using that de-escalation already. They're supporting the young person into the car. They're supporting them into a place where they feel safe. And I think all of our training lines in with that. And, you know, yes, the mandatory is so important, and those core subjects, you know, linking in with safeguarding as well. And we also make sure that all of our adults are first aid trained, whereas, you know, the basic regulation is one person on shift, but we actually enroll all of our adults onto first aid training.
Again, one of the things with Team Teach, one of the techniques is called a help hug. And when you think about physical intervention, often what people think is, you know, heavy-handed. A help hug, you know, placing your hands gently either side of a young person's sort of upper arm, giving them a reassuring hug, is a physical intervention, but actually how nurturing, how supportive is it to guide someone with a help hug, you know, that hug. I love the word, you know, hug around. Actually, it is to support a young person. It is deemed as physical intervention, but actually giving someone a hug to support them and guide them to a safer location is a great explanation of what physical intervention can sometimes look like.
You know, it's care and sees. There's care about it. It's not something that we would abuse. It's not something that should be used in a way that isn't proportionate, justifiable or necessary. It should always be used in a way that aligns with the young person's plans. And I think the fact that our Team Teach trainers they work in the homes, they're passionate about Team Teach. All of our Team Teach trainers are. We've got more people being enrolled on that, and that's also something else that we do at SuperCare. We identify the need for more Team Teach trainers. We don't set it at the basic minimum of adults that can do it. We bring them in and we identify particular adults that would be great. There are adults that have used that de-escalation, that really understand why it might be needed to use Team Teach, and then we put them on that course as well.
Yeah, and as I say, it's, you know, Team Teach is about that de-escalation. It's about how do we get in there really quickly? How do we get in there early to distract, divert, redirect a young person so that we never have to get to that point of using physical intervention, you know, seeing those early warning signs of, oh, yep, Charlie might be feeling a little bit unsettled here for any reason. It might be they're going to see their family. It might be that they're nervous about their first day of school. How can we support Charlie right now and redirect her and change the environment? Yeah, change the environment, or actually it might have been me that said, no, you can't do this today because...
It might be that you're the trigger. It might be that through no rhyme or reason, that particular day, I'm not a fan of you.
Yeah.
So actually we'd use change of face straight away. We wouldn't automatically go into a restraint. And I think when we're looking at the packages that we offer for our SuperCare adults, actually to start with, they come in, they complete that onboarding process, and then they do some of their online training. And that's before they meet any of us. And then they come into this induction process. They come in, they do their Team Teach. And then we get them into the homes, and then they are doing the face-to-face training with us, some of our group online sessions. And I think our online sessions recently have been really well received because we're actually linking in all of our adults across SuperCare, you know, London to Eastbourne, and it's Ninfield will come in there as well. And actually it's about them seeing different people and speaking about their experiences and really fine tuning the topic that we're trying to deliver. You know, training is paid, as we've said at the beginning, but actually training is also structured into your rota. So you will have a forecast of what training is booked in and where.
I love that people can request training as well. Like if there's a particular area that we, you know, might not cover, and they come in and they see something that they think, actually, we could all do with, you know, having a bit of training around this or a workshop. You know, we joke about the fact that we did a whole day's training around how to play with a child. But actually, if you haven't experienced that yourself, you may not know how to
be
play
playful,
with children. You might not know how to set up 10 different small activities that meet the sensory needs of the children, and it's sharing those ideas. And I loved the fact that, we had people blowing bubbles and doing Lego, and we got them with the neon strips dancing. And, it's just teaching people sometimes to play and to not worry if you look a little bit silly. Because actually, what child looks at an adult and thinks, you look silly playing with me? They don't. They think, wow, this is so much fun. Like, memories are made through play. And let's be honest, children learn through play and role model. And if we can role model how to play, the children will learn to play as well.
I do think some of the requests do make me smile. And I think, we've had a request for if we could deliver training in a particular language. And I was like, I'd be learning on Duolingo. I jumped on there straight away trying to learn, realised that wasn't my skill. But actually what that's done is open up a forum for us to say, okay, we need to look at that. We need to get somebody in that speaks that child's chosen language, because as much as they are around English speaking adults as well, maintaining that language is actually a need. And as much as we both laughed at it and was like, don't know how quick I can get this.
Not sure how quickly I can learn that language, but I'll try.
But what we've done is it's identified a need. So now we're looking at getting people in from that community to be able to speak and teach some of the adults in the home key words. It opens up that conversation. And I love that. I love that they can come to us no matter how varied the requests might be, and we're always open with it, and we're building people up into our training. We've got a new member of the team coming in. She's worked in the homes. We're bringing her in, and she's actually got a passion. She's a team teacher trainer, and the first thing she said is, can I deliver some work around de-escalation? Can I add to that? And then, record keeping, she said, can I come into that one? Because actually I'm in the homes. I know what the records look like. I know the forms they're completing every day. And as much as you and I do, we're not there for 15 hours doing it. So actually she's got that unique skill to bring. And I think bringing her in is going to open up the branches a little bit more as well. So I think one thing that we should really speak about is the diploma qualifications, and the fact that you and I are both assessors.
Yeah.
And we both support SuperCare with diplomas through our external company. Level 3s, let's start with level 3s.
The residential childcare is a regulation under the Children's Home Regulations and Quality Standards, and you have to have achieved it within 2 years of working in children's homes. So some children's homes will go down the apprenticeship route. Actually, what SuperCare do is they pay for that for you. So rather than having to wait to be able to progress with it, you can be enrolled onto your level 3 as soon as you pass your probation. Probation is usually around 6 months. You have an assessor allocated to you, and the benefit of it is there are other team members who are assessors who can also support you and guide you. We like to do workshops. So again, we'll do level 3 workshops that you can come along, you can get on with some work, you can ask for support and help. The qualification usually takes between 12 and 18 months. Some people will do it a little bit quicker. Some people might take a little bit longer because of extenuating circumstances. If you go off on maternity leave, it doesn't mean that you are deregistered from your level 3. You're put on hold for that period of time. Once you've got your level 3, you're then put into a senior coach position. So again, the nice thing about SuperCare is
they recognise it.
They recognise
they pay you for
got
it.
So you become a senior coach. When you have a level 3, you can also become a pod lead. And then as you move into management, so deputy or a registered manager position, again, for a registered manager, it's regulation to have achieved your level 5 qualification. But actually for a deputy, we also invest in them completing their level 5, so that as and when they're ready for that step up to management, or if they need to step in the absence of the manager, they can, and they've got the skills and the qualification to be ready to go into that post.
And I think by using our company in the funded route as opposed to the apprenticeship, is our assessors can come in, they can do a lot more observational based work, they can have professional discussions. oral questioning, and they can really encourage the adults to kind of reflect on their experiences, speak about some of the challenges, which supports our learners where English might be their second or third language. And I think it's really powerful when we can get them through their qualification, because quite often, you know, you and I both say it isn't about whether you're academic. Anyone can do this qualification, especially the level 3, but actually we just need to give you a little bit more support for it, and we can. And
what I like about the level 3 and the level 5 personally is there's no exam at the end.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's very vocational. It's about the on-the-job observations to demonstrate your skills and knowledge, as well as some written, as you say, like oral questions, discussions, yeah, reflecting on examples. Because I think as soon as you say exam, that puts people off. We don't have to. We can reassure them to start with there's no exam in it, which is always nice. We come into the homes, we see people interacting with young people and supporting the young people, working within teams, going to their team meetings, doing their everyday job. And that's how you demonstrate the skills and the knowledge to complete these qualifications, as well as some of the written side of it that meets the criteria.
And I think we all work so closely together as assessors that if I'm not their assessor, but you're in, they can come to you with a question. You know, at the end of a training session, they can speak to you about any questions that are linked in with diplomas. We often will say, anyone doing their level 3, this will be really good, like make some notes because this will support you with this workbook. And then we will go to their assessor and say, they've just completed principles of given medication training. Please, can you set them that unit? And I think within the level 3, there's 19 modules, which people always go and they panic about. But we always say it's the 16, then they have 3 optional units. One of them they could complete, which would then link into their level 5 if they were to progress. And actually we work through the units with them.
SuperCare want to see progression, and I love that. They want to invest in people, they want the best by people, and they really want people to grow and flourish.
Yeah.
You know, just like we want our kids and our young people to grow and flourish as well. It's just as important for our adults to succeed and be successful.